Hello y'all, this is Juan Cruz from Inerize. Welcome to the 5th class of the reading course where you'll learn everything that you need to know about reading. In this video, we'll explore the lessons that we can learn from Elon Musk on reading books and how they influence his life, so be sure to stick till the end. Without further ado, let's get going. Elon Musk is arguably the most famous entrepreneur that ever existed. And there's a reason why. When he was only 24, he founded a company called Set2, an internet city guide for the newspaper industry with maps, directions, yellow pages, and more. 4 years later, he sold it to Compaq and received $22 million. In 1999, he co-founded X.com, an online financial services payment company that later merged with Confinity and became PayPal, which was later sold to eBay for $1.5 billion. With the money he earned from that exit, he founded two companies and bought one. First, he founded SpaceX, a company that revolutionized the aerospace industry by building reusable rockets when its competitors destroyed them after every launch. He founded SolarCity, which by 2013 became the second largest provider of solar power systems in the US. Then he bought Tesla, an innovative electric cars company, and became its CEO in 2008. Nowadays, Tesla is worth more than BMW, Daimler, and Volkswagen combined. So yeah, he's an incredible entrepreneur, but these are not his only projects. In 2016, he co-founded Neuralink, a neurotechnology startup company that aims to integrate our brain with AI. He calls it a Fitbit for the brain. In the same year, he founded The Boring Company to construct tunnels for his Hyperloops, a proposed high-speed mass transportation system. Naturally, he stirs a lot of controversy. Some people call him a visionary, others a charlatan. But what cannot be neglected is his ingenuity, willpower, and leadership. So the question is, how much books influence his life and what is his opinion on reading? Also, are there any lessons that we could learn from him? Let's take a look. Elon was a shy child. He had trouble socializing and was always lost in his imagination. To entertain himself, he spent most of the day reading and learning, he says.
I was always sort of really interested in reading when I was a kid, and I would read everything that I could get my hands on. I read the encyclopedia probably age 9 or 10. Not that I actually wanted to read the encyclopedia, but I ran out of things to read, so in desperation I read the encyclopedia.
From the start, he displayed a voracious curiosity that could only be satisfied by reading dozens of books. And most likely, this is what initially opened his mind to the world-changing ideas that would eventually come decades after. When he was a teenager, he became fascinated with a series of books called Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which follows the space adventures of Arthur Dent after the destruction of Earth by some evil aliens. This reading showed him the possibility that someday the Earth would be destroyed and we would have to eventually look for other planets if we want our race to survive. If I had to guess, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy is partially responsible for his current efforts to populate Mars. Apart from this, he learned powerful lessons from this book that influenced him until now.
Then I read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which was quite positive, I think, and it sort of highlighted an important point, which is that a lot of times the question is harder than the answer, and if you can properly phrase the question, then the answer is the easy part. And so, if to the degree that we can better understand the universe, then we better know what questions to ask, and then whatever the question is that most approximates what's the meaning of life, you know, that's the question we could ultimately get closer to understanding. And so I thought, well, to the degree that we can expand the scope and scale of consciousness and knowledge, human knowledge, then that would be a good thing.
In conclusion, the books he read in the first 15 years of his life made a huge impact and created the building blocks for the Elon Musk that we know today. Elon Musk didn't just read fiction books for entertainment. He's also known for reading books to familiarize himself with a topic and advance his career in that direction. When he was starting X.com and PayPal, he read everything that he could find about banking to understand how the financial world worked, to find business opportunities as well as ways to outsmart his competitors. In the beginnings of SpaceX, he read a book called Structures, or Why Things Don't Fall Down, to learn about structure design and apply this knowledge to rocket building. since he didn't have the money to pay an engineer. Books like Superintelligence by Nick Bostrom, Our Final Invention by James Barrett, and Life 3.0 made him realize the potential dangers as well as the benefits of AI. These were the seeds of endeavors like OpenAI and Neuralink. What we can learn from this is that books are a very powerful tool to learn about virtually anything, whether that's business, psychology, marketing, or even rocket science. Nothing is stopping you from buying that book and diving deep into your interests. Another lesson that we can learn from Elon Musk on the topic of books is to read a lot of biographies. They show us how successful people accomplish what they accomplished, their routines, ways of thinking and seeing the world, how they cope with setbacks and learn from failures. This is what he has to say about it.
I like biographies in general. Biographies, I think, are really, really interesting read.
What do you learn from them?
Well, I think you learn a lot, depending upon whose life you're reading about. There are lots of lessons in there. I read Isaacson's biography of Jobs, which I thought was quite interesting. And I actually really liked his biography of Benjamin Franklin, who I would say is certainly one of my heroes. He seemed like a really great guy.
And you actually managed to incorporate any of this into your own strategy, your own way of doing business, your own ethos and philosophy?
Well, I think in the case of Franklin, he did what needed to be done at the time it needed to be done. So, he was in different fields, and he sort of thought about, okay, what's the important thing that needs to be accomplished right now, and then worked on that.
We should soak ourselves with the stories of the people that we admire and we'd like to imitate. It's one of the best ways to learn. I'm not 100% sure why, but many of us only want to read physical books. There's something romantic about paper pages that cannot be replaced with digital screens. The smell, the touch, the weight, but at the end of the day, this is all secondary. Let's hear what Elon Musk has to say.
Are you an online, on tablet, a Kindle, or a crinkle of the paper?
There is something romantic about traditional books, of course, but I find since I'm traveling so much that I often find I'm reading the books on my iPhone, which may sound like, wow, this is really tiny, but it's always with you.
Pass me my iPhone. Pass me. You're not reading the Howard Hughes book on your iPhone?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
You're reading a Howard Hughes book on something the size of this?
Yes. It's small, but it works.
What's truly important is to read, no matter on what or where. Sometimes we'll have the luck to be reading on physical books, but other times we'll have to use our phones, Kindle or tablet. Embrace it and keep reading. While many self-help authors and coaches recommend becoming the best at one topic or field, Musk takes a completely different approach. According to his brother, he usually reads 2 books per day in different disciplines like science, fiction, business, biology, banking, AI, and much more. In his Medium post about him, best-selling author Michael Simmons says, "Learning across multiple fields provides an information advantage, and therefore an innovation advantage, because most people focus on just one field. For example, if you're in the tech industry and everyone else is just reading tech publications, but you also know about biology, you have the ability to come up with ideas that almost no one else could." Elon Musk is also good at a very specific type of learning that most others aren't even aware of: learning transfer. Learning transfer is taking what we learn in one context and applying it to another. It can be taking a kernel of what we learn in school or in a book and applying it to the real world. It can also be taking what we learn in one industry and applying it to another. This is where Musk shines. So don't close yourself to the topics you like and are interested in. Learn about various subjects even though they don't relate to your area of expertise. You cannot predict where a new idea is going to come from or how one piece of knowledge from one area might help you solve a problem from another at first sight unrelated area. These are some lessons and tips that Elon Musk had to offer on reading. As you could see through the whole video, books were and are foundational for his success and visionary mind. The good news is that we can learn from him and apply everything to our own lives. Down below you'll find a list with the books that I mentioned in this video and a few more that Musk recommends. Thank you very much for watching till the end. If you haven't, go to the first video of the reading course. I'll leave a link to the playlist in the description and in the comments. There you'll find more than 10 videos with tips and techniques to get the habit of reading going. Also, at the end of the first video, you'll find a free gift that you can download from my page. Don't forget to subscribe, give it a thumbs up so the YouTube algorithm recommends it to more people, share it with a friend who might find this information useful. Again, thank you very much for watching and see you very soon.